here we go. This is me reacting post-Oscars because I was going to make a video and then we edited it and it just didn't come out in time. So now I'm just going to react. So let's just watch all 5 Oscar nominees and let's just talk about the VFX. And let's see, why did Dune win? No. Oh, foiled by the magical cape. I mean, he's definitely the most unique of all the Avengers, I feel like, of all the comic heroes. Like the VFX of Doctor Strange.
The mirror dimension, where I'm in control.
Is really cool.
Please just talk about this.
Parker, don't you realize that in the multiverse there are an infinite number of people who know Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and if that spell gets loose, they're all coming
like
here.
Doctor Exposition, am I right?
It's their fate. You can't change that any more than you can change who they are.
You know, it kind of works, you know, like as goofy as like the premise is, like as implausible as it is, right? Your eye accepts it. Like it's a canyons, there's a city. The city doesn't look particularly real. It looks like something from like Sim City or something. Like these are just kind of like, I mean, I'm sure they're more detailed than that, but you know what I mean. And like the canyon doesn't look like there's enough detail on it. Like if these shots were just kind of in there, it just wouldn't really work. But tied together, like it's on a train, it's an upside down topsy-turvy world, your mind just goes, I'll forgive it, you know. You know, it's not the most amazing VFX, but it works because it's just so weird. I don't know what it is. It's like the more grounded it is in reality, the more your eye is like, nah, I'm not having it. You know what I mean? And then here we have a breakdown. So this is from Digital Domain. I guess was I full screen before? Well, I'm full screen now. Yeah, this scene here. So basically, like you look at this and you go like, all right, so like Spider-Man CG, right? Okay, so we added in Spider-Man, right? And like when I first saw the scene, I thought like I know what CG. Probably parts of this are a backplate, maybe part of this. And then I watched the breakdown. I read a few interviews on sort of how they approached it. And I was quite shocked because basically the entire scene is CG. Not just the arm, not just Spider-Man, the cars, the bridge. Even this guy, like in this shot, the only thing left that was actually filmed was the doc, right? The actor's face, because he was just on a blue screen. And then they de-aged the face, you know, which is incredible, really. Like the coat, the suit, everything is completely digital.
I know you.
Which is it's a testament to the amount of work. Now, critics will come away and go, yeah, and it doesn't feel grounded. And I agree. There are, like the pole, like that the close-ups of things, it just kind of, it's a little stylized, I think, you know. Like Spider-Man, the reason he like sticks out to me is because he's like, he's just so shiny. And I'm sure that was like merchandising, you know. The toy sales of Marvel need something shiny. You know, I don't know all the ins and outs of it. But that's why I think as close of a contender as Spider-Man was, I don't think it deserved to win. Just love this part of the breakdown. Just watch this. Okay, watch as they're doing the wipes. Okay, watch the guy's face. Ready? The doc's face. Ah! I don't know what the hell happened there. It's just like, one of the comps, they just threw in an old guy who was surprised to be there. I don't know how that ended up there, but it's funny. Makes me laugh. Yeah, so like looking at the rest of this, right? Like, so like everything's digital. Cars are digital. And then they actually filmed 2 cars because obviously the actor was in there and they actually threw this around. They actually built the, like part of the bridge. They threw cars, they grabbed cars and they pulled it into trucks. There's a whole bunch of practical that is actually hidden. You don't see it because they comp more CG stuff on top of it. I think it was actually a shame because if you look at Vanity Fair actually did a great video on it. I'll see if I can pull this up. Spider-Man vanity. Oh wow, thanks YouTube for recommending myself. Very
kind of angle,
very
but
timely. But dude, look at this. Look at, actually I think I commented, you can find the 2 timestamps.
I shot that as a set.
But dude, look at that. Look at that. Look, 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 look. So they built this bridge. And watch this car. I don't know what this is. What, is there like a cable on it or something? And they just yank it. The whole tire flies off. And it gets embedded in here. And then they've got these real concrete things that like smash and break. Okay. And then, but look what happened in the movie. This is how it actually played. Oh crap, hang on. I missed it. Ready? Ready for that? Where's the car? The practical guy who rigged that whole system up is just crying in the theater. You can't even see it. And then they throw in these like CG concrete things falling on top of it instead of the real ones that kind of break weirdly. Look, and I'm not, you know, blaming Digital Domain, because I'm sure that's notes you get on set, notes on post, right? Marvel will come back and say, the way that they fell, I didn't really like it. You know, we want it to be really forceful, so we have to kind of block the car. And it's like, that's a shame, because that was a really cool part. Wow, what was the other one? Hang on, check out this other one. Get a load of this.
150.
Whoa! You see that? They just threw a car. They threw a car.
200 yards or something across the freeway into these water barrels. So that actually happened. And, you know,
I mean, that's really cool.
When you do...
But again, I don't think you really get the sense of that from the movie.
Nanotechnology. You've outdone yourself, Peter.
Oh, you don't see it. Hang on. Maybe you don't see it in this breakdown. I don't actually know if you saw it or not. But anyways, it was very convincing. And apparently there's only 60 shots out of like the 2,300 and something in the entire movie that do not have any VFX, which is staggering. That's such an insane amount. Like, yeah, if you watch the Vanity Fair breakdown, it's pretty amazing. But again, kind of stylized, and it does all the pieces. It just feels like there was too many departments involved: the toys, the merchandising, the brand, and the, you know, and then just kind of you lose some of that practical feel. Okay, we'll save Dune for later. Let's do another one. The one that didn't really get that much attention, I feel. James Bond: No Time to Die, which marks the first time in 43 years that a James Bond film has been nominated in a VFX category. Didn't win, but nominated. And it's definitely, like, you know, coming away from the Spider-Man one. Okay, also, first of all right, you know, there's not that much, you know, VFX when, like, the reel has got the CG plane shot. Like, come on, Tine, we've seen CG planes before. We know you can do them. But it's basically, it's that invisible VFX. It's the VFX that really, it's how did someone put it? It's like it plays a supporting role of the story, not the primary, which is fine. I mean, some of my favorite movies are like that, right? So it's a lot of set extensions. You know, it's stuff that you wouldn't necessarily pick, like looking at it, like, oh, that's a CG shot, right? Like, what's CG about this, right? If you had to guess, what's CG going on here? I don't know, it just looks like a normal street scene, right? But, oh, actually, they didn't do a wipe there. But basically, the background was CG, set extension. Set extensions and leg extensions. You know, subtle things to make the leg connect more with the actual hit. Cool reload there. Yeah, so that kind of stuff, right? Like, you know, little decals on the tops of the building because they were filming and they had some green screen stuff there. You know, it's what VFX is good at. Set extensions. Why it's in the reel. That just looks like all practical to me. I guess DNEG did something. Maybe. Oh, ready for this wipe away. Whoa, cutting edge. And they just added in a background. I'm making fun of. I mean, we just watched the Spider-Man one where they built everything CG, but it's like, yeah, you built the skyline was digitally added in. This is No Time to Die, James Bond. So this boat looks really good, right? Like everything here looks good, except this. Not a fan of the fire. Anyone else? To me, it feels like it's kind of whispery. It feels like I feel like this shot could be improved a lot more if they just used like video, like not CG fire, but videoed fire, right? Yeah. You know, what's it called? Comp it in. God, what am I looking for? Like a plate, a reference video. Just, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, you know what I mean. Yeah. Also, whilst I'm thinking of it, maybe, there we go. I feel like I'm disappearing out of the bottom of the shot. Anyways. But yeah, the water, that's the hard bit, and that was done really well. Yeah, the red lights do look cheap, I agree with that. But, you know, for effect. I mean, this shot's pretty flawless. It's CG, it's kind of a little bit stylized, but like, I don't know if, by the way, if clouds have gotten easier, but I remember I made it like, it must be like, I'm so old now. It must be for like a 10-year-old video. Anybody watching, did anybody watch an old video of me sitting in an airport where I'm trying to finish an art piece before the plane, before I have to board the flight? It was like an old video I did on Blender like 10 years ago. And in it, I made like a cloud scene in Blender before they started boarding the flight. So I had like 2 hours to build it or something. That was a video I made yonks ago. But I remember it being really way too hard to make clouds. And these look fantastic. So yeah, it's harder than it looks. Anyways, by the way, something about this just looks hilarious. Just CG Daniel Craig is hilarious. Anyways, I think that was basically it. Oh, actually, no, hang on. There was another little bit. So, one shot that doesn't really work is this one. You know, and I don't know, you know, maybe the client said, look, it's going to be hard to do, but we've got this natural cliff, and you've got to build an underwater, like, broken civilization into the base of it that feels implausible, and you got to make it work. So good luck. You know, and they're like, all right. But yeah, that doesn't work for me. Yeah, anyone can tell that's CG. But a shot like this, what's CG? You know, what if you had to guess? Place your bets, people in the chat. What's CG? Let's see. Anybody know what's the CG part? The port. Okay, someone says the port. It's all CG. All, everything. The cliff, oil refinery, water in the bay, the buildings, the city, the entire compound. I mean, I think you guys get it. Let's have a look. So this is the live plate right after it. Aha! Okay, so basically the entire port, they had a train that goes through the middle. So the train. But then also, they built the whole thing digitally as well. I think that was probably just for projection and maybe shadows, if I'm guessing. I think they did use the actual backplate for it. But yeah, I mean, pretty good. So that's that's what they mean when they say, like, invisible VFX. It's like seamless stuff that, you know. I'm not a fan of this one, though. This and this is probably the worst shot of it. Because the light is the wrong direction. Exposure's wrong. Yeah, I don't like that. But the rest of it, well done. Well done, boys and gals at DNEG. DNEG. All right. Next up, we got Free Guy. Did anyone watch Free Guy? In preparation for the video that I never made, but I'm live streaming now, watched all the movies. I I knew nothing about Free Guy because I didn't watch any marketing. I didn't see any adverts for it. And then I'm like, wait a minute, Free Guy got nominated for Best VFX? Like, it looked like a rom-com or something. It's just got Ryan Reynolds, like, holding a cup of coffee. I'm like, that doesn't appeal to me at all. But Free Guy, it is, a goofy comedy, but it's got a surprising amount of VFX, as we'll see. All right, well, we can cut that. The opening sequence is a good example of the CG. Here we go.
This is Free City.
That's
Look
pretty
at
good.
This guy, he's one of the sunglasses people. And the people who wear sunglasses are heroes.
Yeah, look at this.
They have
I mean, that's
devil-may-care
impressive, right?
attitude, and they run this town.
You're so hot.
Oh, I know.
So, like, part of this car is CG
That's
as well.
not even his car.
Like the back of it and everything, the headlights, all that kind of thing. Most of the city is
Or his
CG.
wife.
So it's blending live action with CG.
For the sunglasses people, they get to do anything they want. They go on all sorts of missions. They got cool hair, cool clothes.
The cop
laws
cars,
aren't really
you know,
laws to
all
them.
that kind of stuff.
They're more like mild suggestions. Like, I don't think he's gonna return that car. Or that nice lady.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it's a fun sequence. The reason
See what I mean?
that I thought that it was a long shot, and by the way, when I went to that
Hero.
betting website to place the bet, it was like Dune 1.04 in terms of like the odds or something. And then it was like Free Guy 33. Meaning if you bet on Free Guy and Free Guy actually won, I think you'd win 33 times your money or something. The odds were that bad for Free Guy. So basically it was the long shot. But the reason for that is that because the movie is set in a video game, the shots didn't have to be polished all the way. Basically meaning like, the animation didn't have to look entirely realistic. Some of the comp, like the way that cop car, flipped just then, right? Here we go, ready?
See what I
Bing,
mean?
bing, bing. It just kind of feels like it's kind of and it's got this kind of like crumpled paper kind of feel on it. But
Hero.
you could say, well, it's set in a video game, right? So it makes sense that this stuff wouldn't all look real. The front of this car, if this was in like Iron Man or something, you'd be like, it's a little bit sloppy, But there is a scene. Who did it? There was a breakdown. VFX breakdown? No. It might have been on... yeah, that's probably it. Free Guy. Scan line? Yeah. It's on Vimeo. Scanline is not on YouTube, apparently. Okay, but this scene. This was a really cool scene. This is like... It's like a scene from like 2012, that disaster movie. Especially the city's like crumbling in on itself. I mean, look at this. The detail on this is insane. Yeah, as someone in the comments said, it annoyed me that they got so much right and so much wrong about game dev. Alright, that was... My wife asked me at the end of it, what'd you think of the movie? I could tell she liked it, and I'm like, it was okay. She's like, what, you didn't like it? I'm like, it just annoyed me. Just the way that they pretend. By the way, watch this CG character, the way she runs. It's just hilarious. She just, like, her hips are just sort of like, whoa. I don't know, it's funny. But, like, what I mean about it, like not needing to be polished all the way. Like, for example, right? Like, you couldn't have in, like, a you know, a disaster movie or even like a Transformers movie, like a building like disassembling like that. Sorry, my phone is in the way. I need the phone. I'll turn my phone sideways. There we go. You know, disassembling like Lego, right? It's just too unrealistic. It's a little implausible. But because the movie's set in a video game, it's all right. Your mind forgives it, you know. But anyways, so that was Free Guy. Next up, we got Shang-Chi. So Shang-Chi had some of the best VFX and some of the worst. This is some of the best. Okay, so this is what you would expect from a Marvel movie. There was this entire fight sequence. Basically, it starts inside this building in Macau, and then they go out on the scaffolding, and they're like, it's fully CG. Well, not fully, but you know, they shot part of it practically with actors against a blue plate and a mirror or whatever. So they shot it against a mirror, the blue plate's behind it, but the whole city is CG. So they basically had to remove the reflection off the buildings, add in the CG city, and then put the reflections back on top of it and put it all together. And it works. It works quite well. Look at this. It's like they've practiced and rehearsed all the swings. But yeah, so that's the practical bit. So look at this. Look, like fully CG. But you don't notice it, you know? It works. So this is a sequence that was fantastic. I thought it was great. Great sequence. Okay. But then, towards the end of the movie, things go a little south. I don't know how it happened. Constraints on set, the pandemic, trying to shoot through that. I don't know what happened, but this whole sequence, it did not work for me. Like this. There were shots in this where my wife just started laughing. But like, I mean, that's just, you know, what are we doing here? You know? What are we doing here? What is this? It's like the spaghetti monster. And he's just, it's so dismissive. Look, this is, do you know who made this? Weta, right? So it's not like Weta doesn't know what they're doing. I don't know, maybe it was like they got given concept art and they had to make it look like the squiggly spaghetti monster, right? The biggest thing wrong with this sequence, I thought, was like, look how they shot it, right? So it had to be shot completely overcast, even though it was a sunny day, against a green screen. Basically nothing natural about it. And then they comped in just everything. So like the whole surroundings were digital. They replaced buildings. They had to like individually color grade people whilst they were putting smoke over the top of it. That was the other thing. The smoke, like everything just had like layers of fog in it, digitally added. I mean, dude, there was one shot. I don't think it's in this reel. But like, sorry, I should stop pausing it. I keep hitting pause. I know that's annoying. But like, look at this. Look. Watch what they shot with. All they took from that was the actors. So the entire setting was completely digital, which explains why it looked so fake. I mean, this is like a cutscene from Tekken. Hadouken! I know that's not Tekken, but anyways. Yeah, it's like, it's very video gaming, you know? But anyways, yeah, it wasn't in this, but there was a shot, yeah, where they had like the girl, Awkwafina, I don't know her name in the movie, and she runs out, and there was like her and another actor behind her, and they just added in like this smoke kind of effect, and it was just like, oh yeah, it looks so messy. It was like a low budget B movie. It was not good. But yeah, I mean, not that it's not challenging though, you know, like that's the thing. Like this whole sequence, the water and I mean, hey, talk about challenges, right? But you know, I don't know. Maybe the art director, they had to pull it one way. Maybe it had to have a dragon with 7,000 wings and 30 tentacles coming from its teeth, and it had to be purple and it had to light up, but it didn't feel real. Like my wife said at the end, she's like, are you sure that they used the normal Marvel movies? Like, did they outsource it to a separate studio? I'm like, no, it was Weta. Weta, and who was the other one? Rodeo. Wait, is it Rodeo or Rodeo? Anyway, Rodeo Effects. You know, they know what they're doing. These are like legit studios. But anyways, and then we have Dune. Da-da-da, which was my favorite movie of the year, of last year. It's one of those movies where it rarely happens that I go to the movies, and very, very rarely I actually want to see a movie twice whilst it's at the movies, and this was one of them. Actually, the VFX probably wasn't even like my favorite thing about it. Not that the VFX was bad, but like everything was so good about it. The sound design I thought was especially good, and I don't normally notice that stuff. But anyways, so this is a shot from Dune. Let's talk about it. Oh, look at that. So they've been pretty hush-hush about the VFX on Dune. There's been a few like long-form interviews, but they haven't done full like breakdowns yet. So I don't know how much of this desert was CG versus live play, because they did shoot it in what was the city? The place. Where did they shoot the desert scenes? Can someone reply?
What would you do if your ornithopter went down out here?
You wouldn't want to go down out there. It's worm territory.
No, but really, like, what would happen? Don't give me that shrug off answer. I'm pretty sure that like everything, if I had to guess, this is foreground, this is live plate, and then everything there is digital. In Iraq, as Jordan. Okay. I was thinking it was Jordan. There you go.
That's one of your harvesters.
So yeah, I don't know what was live versus what was CG. The annoying thing, by the way, I don't know if anyone else has felt this, but like if you look up VFX stuff, all the making of, behind the scene featurette stuff, it's like they just it's like they deliberately set out to spit on VFX artists, because it's like they'll be like, we wanted to make sure that there was no VFX used in this. We hate green screens. We hate this. And it was like, yeah, but I mean, if you look at the budget, you did spend like a good 30% of it on VFX. So like somebody did something, right? Like, I don't know, but maybe it's just like the art of like movie making, you know, that people want to believe that the magic is real and that they really did shoot things for real. But like the reality is like, you know, CG is used for everything. Yeah, so pretty sure that this entire bit here would be CG. Maybe like a couple, like as I said, the foreground, but like everything else. So something they did fantastic, I think, was watch the way that the sand simulation as they bank around on the ground. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. Perfect. So they used a lot of helicopter reference. I don't know if they comped it in, maybe. I don't think so. The ornithopters, by the way, if I can keep pausing and annoying everyone even more. Do I need to pause it? Okay, look at this. So the ornithopter, in order to pull it off, to make it, like, because it has to feel plausible, right? And in the book, it's described as like a wing, where like a bird that kind of like beats its wings or something. But if you think about it, like, how could that fly, like, in real life? So the director, Denis Villeneuve, is that how you say his last name? He was like, it has to feel so real that my mother could look at the movie and go, that could fly. And so they had to go through all this concept work to try and pull off this idea. And they ended up with this hybrid, like, dragonfly kind of look. And then the wings had to beat basically at supersonic speed. So implausible, but you know, it has to beat at this such a high frequency of speed. And then to render that, the only way they could render it was to render 11 subframes per frame. I don't know what a subframe is, because at least in Blender, I've never used subframes besides simulations. But basically, the motion blur on it, the way that the reflections and everything, like, it doesn't really happen in this sequence, but there's a really cool sequence, like, you can see it, like, warping as the light goes around. But basically, it has to all work correct to the laws of physics, but hard to pull off, basically.
You see these spotter aircraft looking for worm sign.
Worm sign?
A sand wave moving toward the crawler. Worms travel deep.
Hey, Paul, maybe you should have read a book before you went to the...
If you,
He's just learning about worms, saying, come on, man. He's like, wait a minute. Is there worms here? Huh. I should not be on this planet. I'm kidding. I know he did. It was just the way he said that. Worms?
Always. They're drawn by rhythmic noises.
Why don't we just shield the crawlers?
Shield's a death sentence in the desert. It attracts the worms and drives them into a killing frenzy.
Is that a worm?
Big one. You have good eyes.
Oh, gee.
Calling
Spotters
Delta
a
Ajax 9,
crack
worm
team
sign
on the
warning.
spotting department, aren't
Acknowledged.
they? Hey, we got a newbie. Just picked it up before you. You're fired.
They seem pretty calm about it.
Unlisted flight, Imperium business. Worm sign north and east of you, 3.7 kilometers.
Delta Ajax 9, this is Spotter 1.
Someone says, was Dune a good movie? Oh, come on. Come on. You know the answer to that.
Worm is on intercept course to your position. Contact in 5 minutes.
Oh, what?
What happens now?
They'll call a carry-all to let...
Oh, no. Oh, no. What the hell, YouTube? I've been trying to figure this out. All right, so apparently I can't... If I keep playing it for too long of a section, then I'll get flagged. Maybe I should just watch it with the sound off. Oh, I did it again! Damn. Gentlemen, this is democracy manifested. Unbelievable, huh? So apparently, YouTube will detect copyright. I think they thought I was just streaming Dune. Like the whole movie. Because to be fair, it was like a whole clip from Dune. But it was on YouTube already. Which is why I thought I'd be okay. It's literally like a whole segment. It's a 9-minute segment that they uploaded to YouTube. So I thought I was fine. Turns out I'm not. So, well, what was I going to say about it? All right, well, we won't watch that clip then. Let's instead watch, not the clip, but just talk about a couple of the final things because, all right, I don't have any other choice. Let's go, oh, what is it, picture in picture? Yep, there it is. Okay, so let's go full screen. Basically, this is what I wanted to talk about because there were a couple of things that look kind of cool in Dune. Everyone knows already the sand screen thing because it was talked about all over the media. But basically, they tried something different for Dune rather than use green screens or blue screens, the most common chroma keys. They used sand-colored screens. So basically, for a shot like this, they rendered it on this. Basically, they shot on this, I should say. Which basically just looks like a brown colored wall. But basically, like when the light hits it, it just looks like sand. So the reason that mattered was that the scenes didn't need to be relit. Because the lighting that was coming off of those walls, the bounce lighting, instead of it being spilled as green, which was actually a problem with Shang-Chi. I noticed that being a key problem. Some of the shots had like a green tinge to the edge of the frame. But these actually looked amazing. Does ruin the key though. It's something that people don't talk about. is that, yeah, when you don't use a green screen or a blue screen and you try to use a skin-colored screen, because that's the other thing, people, they go, it's a sand screen. It's like, it's also a skin-colored screen. And when you're shooting humans on a skin-colored screen, it tends to get messy. So basically, they had to rotoscope a lot of this. Apparently, it was easier, though, for, like, moving fabric and moving hair. Because I think in those where it's, like, sub-pixel, right, and it's moving really quickly, like the motion blur or whatever, it can actually, like, that's where you get that green tinge comes in quite a lot. But it made it a lot easier for this, apparently. So that's one advantage. But, yeah, basically, like, you know, it's not going to be replacing green screens anytime soon. Because you have to just pay for it as more of the budget. The sand screens. So yeah, I think I mentioned the ornithopter already. We already talked about it. But yeah, they were inspired by dragonflies, and they had to go through all these iterations to, yeah, to get the motion blur to work. Yeah, very challenging. What else was I going to talk about? Ornithopters, yes. This is on DNEGs. Oh, here we go. This is the one I want to talk about. Boom! That's the money shot. Look at that. Look at that sand sim. Now, I wish I could say how long it would take to bake that in Blender, but I can't, because Blender couldn't bake it. But seriously, I couldn't. No chance. Not a damn chance. That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, like, sand's been done. You know, I seem to remember, what was that Spider-Man movie where they first had the Sandman? Was it like Spider-Man 2 or something? From like 2005, I want to say. But it's gotten, I mean, the volume of sand that was used for these cresting shots is incredible. The only thing, and do I want to risk it? Do I want to risk pulling up that scene again and killing the stream? Maybe, maybe not. But basically, the end shot of that sequence where it swallows the harvester. Watch it next time, and you'll see these baleens. They clip through the harvester. They clip through it, and it's a checkbox. It's just like the intersection thing. Oh, for Pete's sake! Oh, we're back. Oh my gosh. Jeez. Well, we're not going to show any more of Dune. All I wanted to say was it was it had cool effects in it. I wasn't even showing Dune. I said, do I want to risk it? And I didn't. I didn't actually go back to that clip to play it. I was literally playing. Maybe it was because I was frozen on a shot that was from the movie, but it was talked about in that VFX breakdown interview thing. Well, now I'm all bothered. Annoying. Anyways, so that's why I ended up betting. I put it on Dune and won $40. I bet 1,000 and won 40. There's no point. I should have just not bothered, but there you go.